show today. I'm going to introduce him in just a couple minutes. You guys are going to have a great time with us today. But first, in case it's your first show tuning in, we are three successful business owners who take the time out of our busy schedules every Wednesday at 11 a.m., and, of course, you can catch us again on 970 WFLA on Sunday mornings. But we take this time out of our day every Wednesday to come sit with you guys. We come to share our experiences of business, both good and bad, our trials and tribulations. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? What can you do as a business owner now? Or if you want to become a business owner, what does it take to succeed? Now, every show, in the last segment, we're going to give you guys what's called the business tip of the week. This business tip of the week comes from our own experiences. We're going to talk about something we've been through in the hopes that you don't have to go through the same thing that we did. We have been around for almost 20 years, most of us in our businesses, and that's a long time to learn a lot of things, and we're going to share that with you guys today. Now, if you want to join the show, we want you to be a part of the Business Happy Hour. There's a couple ways to do that. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can email us to our email address, which is BHH, stands for Business Happy Hour, bhhiheart@gmail.com. That's bhhiheart@gmail.com. Send us an email. One of us will get back to you. We'll set you up to be a guest on the show. You can also just send us a question if you'd like. If you want to be a live call-in guest, you can do this anytime. You can call us today, and we'll put you on the air. Just call 877-897-TALK, 877-897-TALK, and tell them that you would love to ask a question or be on the Business Happy Hour, and we will put you on the show. So without further ado, today's opening monologue. Good morning, friends. We've had a rather eventful week these last few days. You could say that we started the week on Sunday evening with the biggest game in the sports history, Super Bowl, the Super Bowl, the NFL Super Bowl. We watched the player that everyone loves to hate, Mr. Tom Brady. We watched him win his 6th Super Bowl championship. Now, that's more than any other player in history. As a matter of fact, 6. 6 is the magic number for all American sports. The only other two guys to even have 6 rings on their fingers would be Michael Jordan, everybody knows Mike, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Nobody else even touches that in the NFL. That's more than anyone. So why do people love to hate Tom Brady? Why do people love to hate success? Are they jealous? If they are jealous, what exactly are they jealous of? Are they jealous that another guy made it and it's not them? Or are they jealous that they didn't have the drive to do what's necessary to become successful in life? Sure, there's lots of stories of people out there who were born into wealth, became successful themselves, but there are just as many stories of people who were born into money who made nothing of themselves. People squander their family's fortunes all the time. People are handed the family business only to drive it into the ground. My opinion is that success cannot be given to you no matter what. You have to work for it. Tom Brady, as successful as he was not born with a Super Bowl ring on his finger. He was not born into the NFL. Tom Brady had to work to get where he is today. And he continues to work even at an age that is much, much older than most NFL players. The average NFL career is something like 7 years. This guy is 41 years old. He's almost 15 years older than the average player. It's the work ethic and the determination to be successful that drives people. It's this same work ethic that just might drive Tom Brady to fight for another 4 years in the NFL, possibly retiring as one of the oldest champions of the game. Now, last night, we listened to what many are considering one of the greatest State of the Union speeches in history. Even some of the Democrats on the other side who hate Donald Trump with everything they have conceded that this was a great unifying speech for our country. Donald Trump was one of the people, he was one of the lucky few that was born into money in this country. However, he still had to work very, very hard to grow his empire beyond what was given to him. He took the opportunities that this country has given all of us, and he capitalized on it. Was his path easier because he started out with family wealth? Of course it was. But it's not what you're given that creates the man. It's what you do with it that matters. One of my favorite lines from last night's speech was, "We Americans are born free and we will stay free." To me, this means that we're going to continue to fight to have the opportunity to do something incredible with our life. You have the opportunity to do something with your life. Now, we're always reminded of the great success stories of the people who made things happen, whether they came from nothing or were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. But we are rarely reminded of those who lost everything or those who squandered their opportunities. We never hear about that. On today's show, I'm going to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Mr. Craig Urquhart. Craig is currently the executive vice president of Hub International, and this is a major commercial insurance company, a major company. Craig was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Craig actually spent part of his childhood growing up in a trailer park. However, he's one of those individuals who transcended the expectations of those around him and truly worked every day to become what he could be. Craig is also what I would consider a unifying individual. All of us have somebody in our lives who bring us together, not because it's their job, not because it's what they have to do, but it's because it's their personality. It's what they want to do. They have something inside them that drives not only themselves, but drives them to help others succeed using their own free time to do this. Now, Craig takes the time out of his busy schedule almost monthly, just like we do every Wednesday here with you listeners, to try to spread his knowledge and make connections between other individuals, no matter what their success level is, in order to see his fellow Americans make it, his fellow brothers. Last night, after watching the State of the Union, I felt honored to be an American. I felt honored to have the opportunity that I was given by those who died for me on the battlefields across this world over the last century. And today, I feel honored that everyone listening is taking the time out of their day to allow my co-host, Ryan and Doug, as well as our guest, Craig, and myself to share our experiences with you. So I hope you enjoy the show today.
Excellent.
Gentlemen?
You know, I love Tom Brady, man. One of my favorite stories about him is when he was an intern at Michigan. He was interning at Morgan Stanley, I believe. It was an investment bank, big investment bank. And the boss at the time told him, you know what, Tom, you need to hang up those cleats. But you got a hell of a career, you know, ahead of you in investment banking. Yeah, so good thing for him, he didn't take it, you know, he didn't take him seriously. And he never gave up. He never, you know, he ran a really slow 40 time, didn't get drafted first quarterback, you know, but it didn't stop him. And when Drew Bledsoe got injured in the first couple weeks of his rookie season, Tom Brady had all of his linemen out at dinner, and he said to him, I will start. I'm never going to give this position up again.
Wow.
Bledsoe will never play again for New England, and he never did.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's amazing. 41 years old, and still he's going to play another 4 or 5 more years.
Yeah,
I hope so. I really do. I hope he doesn't get some stupid injury that'll prevent him from doing that. Imagine the stats that guy's.
He's got a good O-line, so obviously that helps quite a bit.
That's a great point, Doug. Is the offensive line is what keeps Tom healthy and it keeps him into the game. And just like Tom has an offensive line, we all have an offensive line in business.
Yep.
And in life.
Exactly.
And those people that we surround ourselves with are the ones that prop us up and keep us in the game longer.
Speaking of offensive line, I went ahead and pulled up a stat here since I'm the stat man.
Yes, you are.
You wouldn't think it, but the offensive linemen have the longest career longevity in the NFL.
Well, because they stand there and push. They don't really get hit. You know, it's just a little bit different.
Let's bring an O-lineman in here and let Doug tell him all he has to stand there
Doug,
and push.
I think they would have broke your hip permanently. 3 years, 8 months. That's the longest. That's the offensive lineman. Quarterback now for 3 years, 1 month average NFL career. This is according to the Players Association. So this is legit.
So there's the importance of getting another career if you're an NFL player. You better graduate college because you might only play for 3-point-something years.
So
right
the poor wide receiver. I mean, he's the worst. He's only lasting 2 years and 2.5 months.
Wow.
Yeah. How about the kicker? How's the kicker do? Don't they do pretty good?
you know what? It doesn't show special teams. I would imagine they probably do the best, I would think.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I'm telling my son, forget about it. Just be a kicker.
Just be a kicker.
If I could go back in time, I'd be a kicker.
That's right. I'd be a kicker as well.
Who's fooling? I could never be a lineman or a linebacker. I mean, come on.
We're bringing an offensive line in to have a talk with Doug next week. Pretty sure. So,
I
guys,
want to.
Hey, when we get back from the break, we're going to save the whole second segment for my good friend Craig Urquhart. Craig, you're here, right?
I am here.
He's just enjoying the show. He's just listening.
I got nervous. I have to follow Trump and Brady. That's not like it. Hey, go to commercial.
Yeah. All right. So here at the Business Happy Hour, we're going to cut to commercial. We're going to stop talking about the real superstars like Trump and Brady, and we're going to bring on a local superstar, Mr. Craig Urquhart. You guys are listening to the Business Happy Hour. We're going to be back in a minute, and don't forget about the business tip of the week in the fourth segment here on the Business Happy Hour. We'll see you in just a minute.
Hello, it's Ryan Pelky with TampaBay Plumbers, and I want to tell you about our drain cleaning services. We always include a video inspection with our drain cleaning service, and that's because it's the most important part of the job. Imagine going to the doctor and only being treated for your symptoms. Proper diagnostic will save you time and money when it comes to plumbing or just about anything else. We are the straightforward company and never bait and switch like our competitors make a living on. Call 813-PLUMBER. That's 813-PLUMBER for all your drain cleaning needs.
Hey, Tampa Bay, this is your friendly neighborhood Frank Coto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com, your home of the no-fee mortgage and the 4-minute application on 813mortgage.com. I have some really incredible news for you. Real estate investors of Tampa, listen up. We now have a no-income product with just 20% down and a 660 credit score. No income, no employment, investment loans. Buy as many homes as you want. Apply now, 813mortgage.com, your no-fee mortgage lender.
Have all the rain and storms this year left your roof unprotected? Do you need an honest, reliable, and trustworthy roofing company? Call Suncoast Roofing Solutions today at 813-283-2544 for a free evaluation and no obligation estimate. You'll appreciate their personalized solutions and no-pressure consultants. You can find Suncoast Roofing Solutions on the web at suncoastroofing.com, where honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship come first.
Hello, it's Ryan Pelky with TampaBay Plumbers, and I want to tell you about our drain cleaning services. We always include a video inspection with our drain cleaning service, and that's because it's the most important part of the job. Imagine going to the doctor and only being treated for your symptoms. Proper diagnostic will save you time and money when it comes to plumbing or just about anything else. We are the straightforward company and never bait and switch like our competitors make a living on. Call 813-PLUMBER. That's 813-PLUMBER for all your drain cleaning needs.
Boss, you're not going to believe it.
Whoa, settle down, Buttercup.
It's all over the internet. You know the ding-dong video cameras that are all the rage?
Yeah?
Well, reports are flooding in that engineers and executives at the company had highly privileged access to camera feeds.
Huh?
Boss, they've been spying on customers.
Really?
Yeah, just do an online search for doorbell spying. It's incredible.
Wow, I spy with my little eye.
Yeah, and since they've been bought out by that big mega corporation, you know customer surveillance can't be far behind.
Ooh, can you say Big Brother is watching?
No kidding. Boss, I don't understand why these folks don't just get a safe touch system. No one's hacking or spying on those things.
Yeah, well, that's another reason why we still have to live by the Crooks or Us motto. Stay away from safe touch houses.
Yeah.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we've bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
Even in my own home, I had my own designated space to smoke. If I think about it, it really was like I was punishing myself. A friend of mine said, why wouldn't you just try the Juul? And so I went out and I bought one. The idea of going back to smoking, I couldn't even imagine doing that. I don't think anyone, including myself, thought that I could switch.
Carolyn made the switch October 2016. Make the switch at JUUL.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
You're listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. Hope we gave you guys a little break right there. I want to start by introducing our in-house photographer. He comes every single week and takes pictures of our guests and of yours truly, and he does his best to make us look very, very skinny.
Some of us, it's just not possible.
The angle. It's good angles and good lenses.
They always go, hey, God, Ryan, you're so hard to photograph. Like, thanks.
That's okay. He's standing on a table to get you. Don't worry.
Like, you got to get up higher. Here's a bucket.
So it's Rick Talseda. Rick Talseda also photographed my 40th birthday party. Did a phenomenal job. A lot of those pictures are totally private. But Rick, it's Rick Talseda, and you can find him at rickvisuals.com, right, Rick?
Yeah, get this right this time.
Right, no, last week it was Rick Talseda Visuals or something, but this week it's the right website, Rick Visuals, and Talseda is spelled T-A-U-C-E-D-A, right? T-A-U-C-E-D-A if you're looking for him. Check out his pictures online. They are seriously good, and he comes in every week and does the photography for the show, and we love him for that. So, guys, in the first segment, in the monologue, I introduce you to a good friend and a colleague as well, Craig Urquhart. Craig is the Executive Vice President of Hub International. I'm going to throw out the phone number real quick, but later on you're really going to want it. It's 813-505-8814, 813-505-8814. That's how you get in touch with Craig over at Hub. That's H-U-B, Hub International. All kinds of things they do, especially related to employee benefits and to all types of commercial insurances. In the show, after we learn about Craig, we've got some questions about some really interesting angles that we've never even looked into in our businesses, at least I haven't. Cyber insurance. That's a big one. Cyber. I've actually been hacked one time, so I'm asked Craig about this. Maybe I could have saved a little bit of money on that hack.
You absolutely could have.
Absolutely could have, right there.
So basically,
what does that cover?
If you're storing customer information, customer records, encrypted, I guess you would have encrypted files like credit card, stuff like that, Social Security numbers. That's when you need to have that type of insurance.
Yeah, exactly. Any type of business owner, any type of client is going to want to have that protection. And so Hub does, as Frank was saying, across the board, all types of insurance. I focus on the employee benefits, but cyber is definitely something that is becoming more and more prevalent, and it's something we can definitely help you out with as well.
You guys probably do store customer information.
Oh yeah,
so we don't.
We have all kinds of backup systems and all that, and we have a secure server in house, so nobody can access from outside of our actual physical office, which is good. But before we get into all that, I want everybody to learn about Craig. Craig, you have an incredible story. You were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Your billionaire father didn't leave you $1 million, right? Or there was no billionaire father.
Right.
But Craig, tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are today, in personally and in business.
Yeah, sure. So I was born in Detroit, Michigan, in '71. So the math people there, that's 47 years old. And so I grew up. Part of my childhood was in a place called Kings Manor. It's a trailer park, and my dad worked retail his entire life. And there were no silver spoons there. Some plastic spoons, but no silver spoons. But one thing that my father taught me was hard work. There's no substitute for it. So I'll kind of age myself here. But back in the day with tape recorders, I would go to bed at night. My dad would have Zig Ziglar or Og Mandino or Norman Vincent Peale playing. And so what he would do is he always said he was a much better coach than he was a player. And so he always kind of groomed me to have a positive attitude and almost like a fake it till you make it type mentality. And I remember literally my mom dropping me off at Sears and Roebuck because he sold TVs, and I would just spend time with him. And what really kind of I guess an aha moment was I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and we were going to sign me up for baseball over in Seminole, and it was $15. And unbeknownst to me, we didn't have $15. And so at that moment, I realized, like, okay, we don't have money, but my dad made up for it by always being the all-time quarterback, always spending time with everybody and just being a great dad, knowing that he didn't have it financially. So at a very young age, I learned that there's no substitute for hard work. So to be able to afford college, I entered the Coast Guard. So I was in the Coast Guard Reserve for 8 years, learned a lot about myself at that time in a leadership role. And then I went to the University of Florida. Sorry about that, Frank.
We're not going to hold that against you right
exactly.
now.
And so at University of Florida, I decided to major in two things that you didn't have to major in: because as a child, when I was growing up and playing soccer or football, whatever, I looked around and the dads that were always there had like an Allstate agency or a Prudential agency. And so at a very young age, I was like, okay, I want to be there and I'm going to get into insurance. So I went to University of Florida and got an insurance and a real estate degree. And literally since then, I've been helping companies with their employee benefits for the past 25 years.
Oh, you majored in insurance. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, I didn't know they had that sort of degree.
Well, I majored in insurance, and then in 94, Spurrier was bringing back a pretty good team, so I called my dad and said, hey, do you think I can get another degree? And then we lost to Auburn, so that went out the window. But anyway, so yeah, I have an insurance and real estate degree. It's kind of under the financial umbrella, and I got very fortunate right out of college. I got a really good job in the employee benefit field and did that for half of my career. And then about 12 years ago, I made the decision to go on the direct side, where now I'm an actual broker that works directly with companies, helping them with their health insurance and their employee benefits. And it's been the best thing I could have ever done.
Now, was that Hub that you went to 12 years ago? Or how
no, that's a kind of an interesting story. So I actually went to work for a local agency. A guy by the name of John Connolly was always kind of a personal mentor in my life, and said, if you want to have wealth in life, you have to own something, right? You can't just work for a company. So I became a broker of a local agency. We got bought by a couple of different agencies. Then in October 2013, Hub International bought us. And Hub has a very interesting kind of business model where they look for high-performing, locally owned insurance agencies and then infuse them with tools and resources and capital that the really large firms have and the local firms simply don't have. And it's kind of like playing for like maybe the good New York Yankees, if that's possible. Right. So we were like the Tampa Bay Rays, right? We were really, really good. We did a really good job, but we were just limited. And now we have no limits. And I kind of jokingly tell people that unless you share a bed with your broker, like you physically like share a bed with your broker, or they carried you out of a foxhole, you absolutely owe it to yourself to at least have a conversation with me about what Hub's doing, because there's really nobody doing what we're able to do these days.
Wow.
Interesting.
That is. So you guys hear the music. We've got a little break coming up here. When we get back from the break, we're going to elaborate with Craig on some of these products and some of these things that his company can offer, some things that even all three of us in this room, business owners for nearly 20 years, I didn't know existed. Sounds like I could have saved some money on my cyber insurance, which I still don't have. Then maybe Keyman Insurance. Doug and I were talking about that. So if you want to learn anything about insurance, or you just want to have a great time listening to Business Happy Hour, then stay tuned. And don't forget, in the fourth segment, the business tip of the week. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to tell you it will change your life as a business owner if you follow this tip. And if you're looking for a good photographer, Rick Talceda, rickvisuals.com. The Business Happy Hour will be back in just a minute.
Your shot at $1,000 now. Text the nationwide keyword coffee to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's coffee to 200-200.
Now, a 1250 WHNZ market update.
I'm Jessica Ettinger, CNBC. Stocks were mixed, but now the major indexes are all lower. They're really not doing too much, though. The Dow is down 11 points. The NASDAQ down 16 points. The S&P is down 4 points. Snapchat parent Snap shares are doing something. They're soaring, up 28% on word the company says it's not losing any users now. JCPenney will no longer sell major appliances. And to clear out what's in stores and make room for other items, it'll give free delivery and installation on most appliances over $300. Lowe's is hiring seasonal spring workers. Some of these jobs will be full-time. Six Flags Amusement Parks has announced that it's hiring thousands of people for the summer. Coca-Cola's added new fruit-flavored Diet Coke options, blueberry acai and strawberry guava. Jessica Ettinger, CNBC.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
We just had an accident reported northbound on 275 at 5th Avenue North. There's a wreck westbound on Alderman at Omaha Street, and an accident in Newport Richey northbound on Congress Street at Bandura Avenue. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Udrick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line at 866-545-9595.
This report is sponsored by Peloton, live studio classes in the comfort of your home. Peloton is a game-changing indoor cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom.
I'm Navy veteran Eric Dane. Join us for CBS Eye on Veterans with information for vets transitioning to civilian life. Weekday mornings at 7:50 and Saturday evenings at 6, right here on 1250 WHNZ.
From the Rude Air Conditioning Weather Center, rely on Rude.
Your Tampa Bay area forecast, plenty of sunshine, high 78. Mostly clear tonight, the low 62. Tomorrow, sunny and warmer, high 80. For more news, weather and traffic, tune to WFLA at 94.5 in St. Pete, 105.9 in Tampa, or 99.1 in Newport Richey.
This report is sponsored by First Citizens Bank. Finding a bank for your business isn't easy. Some banks are just too big, others too small. Then there's First Citizens Bank, with deep experience in business and commercial banking. All the resources you need, and best of all, the kind of bankers who understand your business. First Citizens Bank, forever first. Member FDIC.
You're listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Guys, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. Excuse me, I'm fighting off that thing that everybody has had here in the last, few weeks. But we're
Vegas flu.
Yeah,
what happens in Vegas doesn't necessarily stay in Vegas.
Certain things come back with you on the airplane, apparently. 6 out of 7 of the bachelor party guys brought this home to the different parts of America.
You guys must have been sleeping in the same bed. I don't know. That's weird. That's just weird.
You could say that. Yeah. You ever seen that movie Outbreak? Well, it all started in Vegas, and now we went to the four corners of the United States, spreading our diseases. But anyway, it was a good time. We have our guests on show, totally off topic, on show here. Craig Urquhart, good friend of mine. We were talking about Craig's story. You know, Craig came from a very meager childhood. He was telling us he spent part of his life living in a trailer park, but the entire time his dad, although he didn't have money, had a lot of love to give and a lot of advice to give. And you mentioned one of my favorite books. I'm not even a huge reader, but I actually read Rich Dad Poor Dad years ago, and that's Kiyosaki, and great book. And you mentioned your dad had you reading some of these motivational books as early as 10 years old. Yeah. And Craig, I wanted to ask you, your dad never gave you a silver spoon. He was a really hard worker. I know where your drive comes from because I know you, and now I know a little bit more about your background. And I can see what you do for people that you're giving back what your dad gave you. So where is Dad now? How did that go with Dad?
Yeah, so Dad's doing well. Dad's over in Clearwater, Florida, still married to my mom. We just had their 50th anniversary. So
it's awesome. Congratulations if they're listening.
Yeah, so they definitely are listening. My dad's my biggest fan, and so Dad's doing great. Dad was one of these guys that he sold Amway, he sold water softeners. He did everything he possibly could to make it for the family. And so he always kind of entrenched in me that hard work mentality. But one story that I'll tell quickly is we were out at spring training years ago. I was probably 10 or 11 years old down in Bradenton, and we were at a Pirate game, and there was a child there that was mentally challenged. Let's say, I'm not sure what word we can use these days, but I'll say mentally challenged. And my dad got a pirate shirt because he always had this gift of gab, and he'd get in front of people, take pictures, and he brings his shirt out. And I was so excited he was going to give it to me, and he hands it to this young man. I'm like, this boy, and I'm like, what are you doing? And it was funny, on the way back in our station wagon going over the Skyway Bridge, my dad looked at me because I had tears in my eyes because I wanted that shirt. I didn't have anything. He said, son, that kid is going to remember that shirt more than you'll ever remember it. And it's funny because there's no way that had as much of an impact on that child as it did on me. So another Zig Ziglar quote is, if you give people what they want, you'll get what you want, right? And so I've always been a big believer in helping others, and I think that just works out extremely well. And I learned that really from my father.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Dad, you did a really good job because Craig he's brought together countless people ever since I've known him. I mean, you've probably introduced me to more people in our short time knowing each other than anybody I can think of. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, what Frank's kind of talking about is we put a dinner together last year. We call it the 1% dinner, and there's like probably 20 to 25 folks there, and it's not a networking dinner, but it's just really good people that want to help others. And I know specifically a lot of business is done through there, and it just makes me really happy to watch other people be successful now that I'm in a position that I can help others, and it just really just kind of helps everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure your dad's ultimate goal was to have you be successful. So obviously, in the scheme of things, he actually made that true.
Yeah, he always talked about being a better coach than a player, right? And so he kind of built this person at a very young age. And I'll never forget the days of him coming in after getting home from work at 9:30 because he worked retail for 33 years, flipping that tape and then hitting it again. And then there it is, just kind of in my mind about all these positive affirmations throughout my entire life. And I just hope that I kind of joke with my dad. I said, your goal, and I'm a father of two, I said, your goal is always to provide a better life than was provided for you. I said, well, Dad, you didn't set the bar too high. You got me in a mobile home park. You never made much money. I said, so now my son Marshall is going to have a little bit harder mountain to climb. But yeah, I mean, my dad was my best man at my wedding. We had an opportunity a couple of years ago. A client of mine asked me to play in the Valspar Pro-Am. And not only did he ask me to play in it, but he paid for it, and he was my caddy. And this man is a billionaire. And I just was thinking, like, how much of a moment that must have been for my father, who walked the entire 18 holes, and to watch that happen. Because I'm sure when he was in that mobile home park and he was busting his ass at Sears, he never would have dreamed one day to walk a professional golf event with his son and then watching a man who's a billionaire caddy for him. So I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate. But I mean, all of this has come from just complete hard work and helping others. And I think that's really kind of the silver bullet, as people always want to know, like, what does it take to be successful? I think helping others is always going to come back to you, as long as you're doing it for the right reasons. If you don't do it with an agenda, if you're doing it out of your heart, I think that's exactly how you can be successful in life.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you get so much reward from it. If you do it from the right place, like you said,
right.
It just is. I'll tell you, it gives me another reason to get up and go to work every day, knowing that I can impact someone else's life.
Your dad knew exactly what he was doing. He couldn't give you one thing, but he gave you something so much more important.
So true. That's true.
That's awesome. So let's talk about what it is you do, Craig.
Yeah, let's do that.
Over halfway through the show. We haven't even discussed what you do. Now I know you focus on the employee benefit thing.
I do.
I know for us, a couple of the things are maybe some exciting things that we want to chat about. Let's at least touch on this cyber thing, because this is big these days.
Most definitely.
Excuse me, people getting hacked. I'm a financial service company. Data is the most important thing to us, protecting that data. Luckily, our hack happened, 15 years ago, and is before they really could get anything. They ended up just basically burning up one of our servers with some stupid program or something like that. But even at that time, I had redundancy in my office. What does it mean to have cyber insurance?
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely important. I mean, a lot of times when it comes to insurance, people don't think about insurance until it's too late, right?
Right.
I mean, they would love to say, hey, can I get that insurance policy because now I've had a claim? When it comes to cyber, especially now more than ever, it's protecting not only your data, but any data that you're holding of your clients, because you are completely liable for all that information. So by working with Hub, being the 6th largest global broker, we have access to markets that a lot of agencies don't have access to. But more importantly, we have that book of business that we're going to be able to get you not only the best policies, but also at the most efficient rates. And really doing a full analysis is the best way to find out exactly what coverages that you need. It's not a one-size-fit-all, right?
Okay.
I mean, you're in real estate, we have some plumbing, we have roofing. Everybody's different. We work with a lot of white-collar companies, and what their needs are going to be completely different than maybe what your needs are. And so what we can do is, I know you brought the number up, 813-505-8814.
Right.
We'd be more than happy to help you out with any of your insurance needs. I know I focus on the employee benefit side, but Hub handles all insurance, all commercial insurance, all employee benefits, and all personal insurance. We can help you in any way possible.
Can you define employee benefits for us?
Exactly. So that's what I've done for the past 25 years. And employee benefits has really changed dramatically. Back in the day, it used to be like, what is your copay and what is your coinsurance? Where now it's really become more of a financial conversation, where if you remove payroll out of the equation, your health insurance expenditure is either going to be your first, second, or third line item. So it's extremely important. And what I mean by that is your true medical health insurance, your dental insurance, your disability, your vision, your life, your key man, which is extremely important, your executive life insurance, because a lot of times your group policies are going to have caps. And if you're making a significant amount of money, if $10,000 a month isn't going to be enough, well, then we have avenues and we have the intellectual property put together specific programs that are going to be able to help you, because the worst thing in the world is to get disabled, right? You could say, well, the worst thing in the world is to die. Well, not necessarily, because if you die, you're gone. Hopefully you have enough money where your family is going to be able to survive. But really the worst thing that can happen, Frank, is if you become disabled because you're still alive, but the bills are still going to come in, right? I mean, the beach house, your mortgage, those bills don't stop. And if you no longer can make a living, that's kind of game over. And that, to me, is even more important than the health insurance piece of it.
So, Doug, you're a great example of the whole disability thing right now, because, Doug, technically you're temporarily disabled right now.
Yep.
So you had the proper insurances, and you actually educated me on something, and I didn't even realize that there was a difference in personal disability and
overhead
business or overhead.
Yeah, so I have
disability?
something called overhead disability, which covers. It basically covers anything, that we have a set amount that we have, and then you can go a little bit above that, depending on how much I'm actually losing every month, or we have just a set amount. So, I've been paying on that for 5-6 years. No idea I'd ever use it, but obviously it's come in, pretty handy recently.
It's come in handy now.
Yeah.
I can assure you.
So, I can't really get on a roof or do much for the next probably 6-7 months.
Most definitely.
So, yeah, it's interesting. And another thing is, one thing I'm going through as well is auto insurance. And I would recommend people just to check on that all the time, because that's one thing that I should have done a bit more on top of, is that one of my employees had his wife drive his truck and she got into a car accident. Now all of a sudden I don't have coverage. And it's just, if I'd have known more about insurance, I would have been more on top of it. Now I'm being sued by someone because we didn't have the proper insurance.
Right.
Because she drove a company truck.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I have a lawyer that's going to take care of it. Everything's fine, but it's just costing me a lot of money.
Yeah, nobody wants to have to bring a lawyer in.
Correct.
You just want to be protected. And Craig, that's something that you and Hub can take care of. That's part of the review that you're talking about, is if you had met with Doug, you would have gone over these things. You would have said, hey, Doug, you've got the right executive insurance, I think is that's the one, the other one.
Yeah, all my
has.
employees are covered, but then I'm finding out that they're taking the vehicle home, they need to have their wife's covered or their kids covered, or everyone at that household needs to be covered. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah. So I always joke that I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old at home, and they can get you a quote, right? But if you want someone who's actually going to bring value to the table and actually do an analysis to make sure that Doug and his employees are properly covered, that's where Hub comes to the table, where we can help you more than just go ahead, hey, call an 800 number and get a quote. No, we're going to sit down with you and make sure that you're completely covered across the board on everything that needs to be covered, for sure.
Got it. And to find Craig, don't forget, guys, the number. It's very easy. Local number. He's a local guy. 813-505-8814. That's 505-8814. And if you hear the paparazzi clicking in the background, that's none other than Rick Talseda Photography taking pictures of all of us in the studio. They follow me around everywhere I go. It is rickvisuals.com, rickvisuals.com, and Craig Urquhart here. We're going to be back on the Business Happy Hour in just a minute with the business tip of the week. It's going to change your life, so stay tuned to the Business Happy Hour. Have all the rain and storms this year left your roof unprotected? Do you need an honest, reliable, and trustworthy roofing company? Call Suncoast Roofing Solutions today at 813-283-2544 for a free evaluation and no obligation estimate. You'll appreciate their personalized solutions and no-pressure consultants. You can find Suncoast Roofing Solutions on the web at suncoastroofingsolutions.com where honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship come first.
Hello, it's Ryan Pelky with TampaBay Plumbers, and I want to tell you about our drain cleaning services. We always include a video inspection with our drain cleaning service, and that's because it's the most important part of the job. Imagine going to the doctor and only being treated for your symptoms. Proper diagnostic will save you time and money when it comes to plumbing or just about anything else. We are the straightforward company and never bait and switch like our competitors make a living on. Call 813-PLUMBER. That's 813-PLUMBER for all your drain cleaning needs.
Hey, Tampa Bay, this is your friendly neighborhood Frank Coto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com, your home of the no-fee mortgage and the 4-minute application on 813mortgage.com. I have some really incredible news for you. Real estate investors of Tampa, listen up. We now have a no-income product with just 20% down and a 660 credit score. No income, no employment, investment loans. Buy as many homes as you want. Apply now, 813mortgage.com, your no-fee mortgage lender.
Have all the rain and storms this year left your roof unprotected? Do you need an honest, reliable, and trustworthy roofing company? Call Suncoast Roofing Solutions today at 813-283-2544 for a free evaluation and no obligation estimate. You'll appreciate their personalized solutions and no pressure consultants. You can find Suncoast Roofing Solutions on the web at suncoastroofingsolutions.com, where honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship come first.
Americans are always on the move. They're in the car, at the office, working around the house. Americans refuse to sit still. So how do you connect with all of these moving targets? Easy, with radio. Radio reaches 93% of Americans every week, more than Google, Facebook, even television. Because hey, who has the time to sit and watch TV? So when you want to connect with all those constantly moving adults, teens, and millennials, get to iHeartMedia.com and put AM/FM radio to work for your company.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really?
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-908-0586. 800-908-0586.
You know why it's important to lose weight, eat healthy, exercise, and reduce stress? The question is how. Hi, this is Dr. Michael Garka, host of Let's Talk Nutrition. Do what many others do across the country and listen to Let's Talk Nutrition, where you can learn evidence-based diet and lifestyle strategies to take charge of your health and improve your overall health and wellness. Let's Talk Nutrition airs weekday mornings 9 to 11 on AM 1250 WHNZ. You can also watch the show at letstalknutrition.com. I'll see and talk to you on the radio.
You're listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. We are in the last segment. If you guys missed everything else, you know that we are three successful business owners that come together every Wednesday at 11 a.m. live to share our experiences in business with you. We always have an incredible guest on, and today is no exception. We have been having a great time in the studio with Craig Urquhart. Craig says in the break, he goes, "How am I doing? Is this a good show?" Ryan chimes in with,
Is that we have a lot of great shows. All of our shows are great shows. I guess.
But today's was exceptionally good. I've got to say, good stories, good people.
Well, insurance is really riveting, so I would expect it to be fantastic.
Well, that's why we're driving into the exciting parts.
I think the fact that your father was such an influence on you, and just that will help fathers out, like
Most
when
definitely.
your kids are young, get them into all these different books and books on tape and. I think that's great that your dad did that for you. That's
Doug, I
an
love
amazing
it.
story.
It's business. Teach your kids about business at the youngest age possible. And
Absolutely,
dude. I mean, it's an emotional thing for me hearing what your father did for you. I mean, it's guys. If you're a dad out there and you don't have the money to give your son something, that's not what's important. You can give them something that will last their entire lives, and it doesn't cost a penny.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just reading those books that you listen to on tape is just a great thing for most people. I mean, those are inspirational books to read, and it helps people on the journey to become successful.
Most definitely.
Ethan and Paige still ask me to tell the same stories about Carnegie and Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan. Those are my old heroes, business heroes from back in the day, and I mean the stories are timeless.
Yeah,
it's they never, even though the technologies have changed and evolved over time. Nothing replaces hard work. Nothing replaces dedication and that killer instinct to just never stop. So
we've got a couple minutes before we go into the business tip. I'm going to leave us at least half this segment for the business tip because I think it's a good one, and all my business partner here, we've experienced what we're about to talk about. But I know the employee benefits thing. Craig will do a review. It's 813-505-8814, 813-505-8814. So Craig can do that full review. Craig, I want to ask you about something else. Keyman Insurance. Explain that. The way I understand it is what I can insure another person in my company, and if something happens to them, the company gets paid. Explain that.
Yeah. So really, what it is it's additional insurance in case one of the owners were to pass away. Right?
Has to be an owner.
Doesn't necessarily have to be an owner, but I mean, it's just not going to be rank and file, folks. Right? It's somebody that if they were to pass away, it would have an immediate, dramatic impact on the company. Right? So take for instance, if you have like 3 owners. And one of those owners passes away, right, is you want to have that money potentially maybe to buy out a spouse, because the last thing people want, be it a man or a woman, is like, okay, so-and-so has passed away. Well, because we don't have the money to pay out, well, then that person's spouse now becomes an owner, right? And so when you got into business with those 2 other folks, you got into business with those 2 individuals. You didn't get into business with the person's spouse.
Right.
So it's a way to protect the company that if something were to happen, that the money would then be able to be paid out to the spouse as opposed to the spouse having ownership in the company. And again, it's not one size fits all. We do this all the time, and I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody about that. We have an actual team that's dedicated at Hub that works on Keyman Insurance.
Okay, and it doesn't.
I mean, it's basically like a life insurance policy.
That's what it is.
It's exactly what it is.
I tried to get it, unfortunately, but my business partner smokes. The rates were so extremely high that didn't make sense.
But Craig, it doesn't have to be an owner, though, right? Like I could do it for the vice president of my company. I could do it for an ops manager, someone who's an integral part of the company.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's interesting. That's a totally interesting angle out there for your business.
And it's key man / key woman insurance.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
key person.
We are not discriminating here on the business happy
not key person insurance.
Exactly.
Now, this executive disability, can you do that type of thing for those types of employees too?
Yeah, exactly. So what that is, a lot of times that's employee paid.
Right.
A lot of times the key man insurance will be employer paid.
Right.
But the employee paid on the executive disability. So most policies are going to be capped off like $10,000. It's like 60%. Not to get too much into the weeds, but it's 60% of your income up to $10,000. And if you're making a significant more than that, there's an opportunity to get additional insurance on top of the group policy. I mean, you can get up to $20,000, $25,000 depending on what that number looks like, and that can also be for a subset of your employees. Now, a lot of the employees aren't going to qualify for it, right? If you're making $50,000 a year, it doesn't matter. But if you're making $1 million a year, then yes, you're going to need additional insurance because most people making $1 million live like they make $2 million.
The American way, right?
Exactly.
Thank you, Visa. So that's our sponsor of the fourth segment, Visa and MasterCard. Live like an American. So just kidding. Don't do that. But I guess I'm going to get a review. Doug and Ryan, we're also going to get reviews. It doesn't matter how big or small the company is.
Correct.
It's worth the time. So if you guys want to do it, call Craig, 813-505-8814. And don't forget, for your photography, it's Rick Taseda, rickvisuals.com for all your photography needs. Now, business tip of the week. We've got almost half our segment here. Who wants? You guys want to throw it out? You want me to throw it out and we just
throw it out and we'll chime in?
All right. The business tip of the week. And Craig helped come up with this one. It's hire the right people. Hire the right people.
Sounds simple, but
it sounds really simple, but how do you do it?
A lot of managers are afraid to do that. A lot of managers, for some reason, are insecure about hiring people that may be better than them at what they're hiring for. And I think that's the silliest thing you could possibly do as a business owner, as a manager. You want to hire people that are better than you at the position that you're trying to fill. So, I don't get the insecurity, but I've been hiring people for almost 20 years now, and every time I try to hire someone better than me.
So one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was always be interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for all positions, and you're because you never know what type of person you're going to run across.
Yep, waitresses, waiters, wherever you are, you're always working. That's pretty much how I operate.
Well, and I think you're only as strong as your team, right? So I've had a lot of success with my organization, but it doesn't directly. It's not because of me. It's because the team that I have that is able to support me, in my opinion, is the best in the business. So it enables me to go out and do what I do best, knowing that they're going to be handling my clients on the compliance side, on the technology side, on the wellness side, and on the financial side. I can't do all of that, so we have the best in the business to be able to do that.
Craig, that is some great advice. Guys, if my team is listening, thank you very much. You guys are an incredible team, by the way, and that piece of advice is perfect for all business owners, is you are only as good as your team. And I tell my team this all the time. Guys, if you can stand up behind the scenes and make things happen, then I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make the rain come. And that's what the business owner and the executive should do, is they need to make it rain, and the team knows how to take it from there. That's our advice right here for the Business Happy Hour. I hope you guys had a great show. Craig Urquhart, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yep, it's been a great time with you. Ryan and Doug, hope you guys are having a good week.
Killer week.
That's right. We'll have a surprise guest for you guys next week, so don't miss us at 11 a.m. And don't forget, if you want to call, 877-897-TALK. It's the Business Happy Hour right here on 1250 and 970. Have a great week, everybody.